Hello, lovelies. Getting ready for this live stream. I am just trembling today. I am going to make sure the reminders got sent out and everything is working. Let me know if you can see me or if you can hear me. That'd be great. Happy Thursday. I hope this Thursday is finding you well. If you are joining me live, please comment in the comment section so I can welcome you in. It has been such a magical week here in Sedona. I have been here in Sedona since Monday the 20th, and I have done several hikes and have had multiple adventures, and I'm so happy to be bringing this energy into this live stream today. Everything feels absolutely right, and as I was getting ready to really bring in this topic and bring in the energy and set the tone for today, the topic of enlightenment and speaking on the frequency of enlightenment and what it means to walk a journey of enlightenment means so many different things to so many people. So I encourage you to write your questions. If you have any questions, write them to me and I will answer them. Or if you want to know more about anything that we're going to talk about today, please, interact. Let me know that you're here and welcome. If this is the first time that you are joining me, welcome. My name is Amanda. I am a spiritual intuitive. I work through Awakened Mind LLC, and I am a spiritual facilitator and mentor, and I help people find God in themselves and find their higher consciousness and remember who they are on a soul level. Many things go into that type of work, but it is what I am here in the world to do, because I have the ability to perceive energy in multiple frequencies and dimensional space and reality, everything from the cells inside of the physical body to the incarnated consciousness that we are and where we originate and resonate with in the world. So many things in between. That is me. Today I am talking about enlightenment, walking an enlightened path, walking potentially a little bit about walking a healer's path. And I'm also going to be sharing with you some of the amazing experiences that I have had the privilege of observing while I have been here in Sedona. So I won't linger too long. Welcome and thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. So I have heard multiple things. Hello, Ashera. Thank you so much for being here. Lovely. I had heard multiple things about Sedona being a very powerful spiritual place, and I have been called to Arizona numerous times over the last few years. And it finally came together that I had the means and the time and the ability to come be present in this place. I am currently in Sedona at an Airbnb, and I have a little view of Thunder Mountain outside of my window. So I was very thrilled to learn that when I got here. This place is unlike any place that I have ever been before, and I feel like I say that every time I go somewhere new. Every place I go holds something different, even if it's in a similar frequency to a place I've experienced it before. It brings a different element, and I heavily believe that the cultural influence and the people and the communities in the area also affect the way that energy is received and kind of changes it a little bit. So right off the bat, I flew into Phoenix on Monday, and then I drove from Phoenix up here to Sedona, and it was a beautiful drive. Every time I turn a corner, I feel like I am in a new place because the scenery changes so much. But all of my initial impression and all of the videos that I have been taking throughout this experience, I am sharing with a select few people that chose to be on that email list So Sedona day 2 and 3 are coming your way. They've just taken a lot to download because I've taken a lot of videos. And the energy coming into Sedona, it was such a gradual shift and yet so strong and powerful that I took a long time actually acclimating to the energy of Sedona, the town, the city, as it like sprawls out over so much space here. And I was having trouble like really getting a bead on things. I had done a lot of research already about the places that I had wanted to go and the things that I wanted to see and what people were considering a vortex, because I hear people say that they know what vortices are, but then I go to these places and I don't perceive or feel any of them in many frequencies. Like I check the scale, and here I wasn't sure what to expect, but when you come into Sedona, you already see the mountains. The view from Sedona is mountains everywhere, and it's fantastic. I can't. The gravity, the pictures do not do Sedona justice. And I've seen a lot of pictures and I've seen a lot of videos. And to be present and by these massive mountains is something to be experienced. Absolutely is something to be experienced. So I was having trouble getting a bead on it. So I got down to the manuals, where are these vortex sites? But on the very first day, was it the first day, second day, whatever day it was, one of the very first places that I went was actually the chapel here, which isn't necessarily an experience that, I'm not going to walk you through from A to B, but when I went there, I did not know that it is considered a vortex site. And when I went there, I did not see a vortex at the chapel. However, I did see an anchor. Now, an anchor is a point of energy that holds a sphere, and it's got geometrical patterns, but it plays in a certain frequency and then it rotates around in this pattern. And I call it an anchor because the anchor, the light, the spark of like divinity in the center was anchored in the basement of the chapel and expanded out beyond the chapel. I don't consider that a vortex, but I feel like some people consider it a vortex. This is not a chakra structure. It's not a chakra energy. It's an intention. And the people that built the chapel had a very powerful faith, and they conducted ceremonies in such a manner that the heart of that church was there and it was anchored in that place, and it expands over time. When I went into the basement of the chapel, I did ask the lady, what was the basement originally used for? And it was the caretaker of the church. And I want to say also the caretaker / pastor of the church. And they also used to facilitate ceremony. They used to facilitate church in the basement. So that all made sense to me on why there would be an anchor there. I didn't find out until the following day that is considered one of the vortex areas in Sedona. But the real thing that I wanted to share with you is this beautiful hidden gem that I think people don't take the time to look at, and it is called the Birthing Cave. So far, I have visited Thunder Mountain, and I've hiked to a summit adjacent to Chimney Rock, and then I went to Cathedral Rock and hiked to the summit of that. And then I was also at the Birthing Cave, and then I've also been to a couple of the different park areas to observe the views and get out and walk around and things like that. Cathedral Rock is considered a vortex point, and that absolutely is a vortex. That is one of the most powerful things that I have seen coming from the planet, was that one. But there was this energy at the Birthing Cave. It's considered like a secret cave, but it's not secret. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows how to get there. And the path to get to it is super out in the open, and it's very well traveled. It's no secret, but they call it a secret because it is not marked on the map, but it is along another trail. The power in this cave. There is a vortex in that cave, and it holds the frequency of Divine Mother, but Divine Mother Gaia. It was magical, and I had to share that with you. My experience going up to the Birthing Cave, because I knew it was one that I wanted to have, and the legends, I take legends with a grain of salt. I wait until I experience a place before I know like what's going on in that place. And on my hike up there, it was very quiet and it was dusk because I was going at sunset and it was amazing. But when I came into this area, and you can see the cave, the cliffside, and the cave in the cliffside. And I was walking and I took multiple videos. So those of you that are following my journey in the video form are going to get the unedited version of those videos. When I walked up there, all of a sudden I looked up and I could perceive probably over a dozen Native American women standing in this cave. And one of them was right next to me and she reached her hand out to help me up the pathway. And she said, the first thing she said to me was, this was not just the birthing cave, this was the cave of mothers. And there were mothers who birthed children who were not alive. There were mothers helping other mothers. And they were a community of women that joined in ceremony at this cave to welcome new life and to welcome with the Divine Mother, because they could feel the presence of Earth Mother in that cave projecting out over the valley. And when you're in that cave, you can look over the valley and see the other adjacent mountains. And they showed me the most beautiful scene where mothers and grandmothers and sisters would come. I'm going to cry just thinking about it. I cried for like 10 minutes in that cave. They would come and they would prepare this beautiful space. And a long time ago, there used to be water that came down out of the cave from a spring, and it was fresh water. And they would bring these clay pots and they would fill them with water and prepare for a birthing ritual. And then they said when a woman was in the throes of labor and you could hear her scream, it would echo out of the cave across the valley against the mountains, and it would be like the call, like announcing the birth of a new life in the community. And it was an amazing experience. And if you ever have the opportunity to come here, or if I ever facilitate a women's retreat, that will be one of the places that we go, is to that place to be together as women and as mothers and being connected to that piece of Divine Mother. And it was a magical experience. And I don't know how long I sat there for. And I wanted to share that experience because I feel like people don't know that there is lifeblood pouring out of that cave. And it is also to be celebrated, and it's not marked on the map. And I kind of love that about it. Super simple hike to get to also, which I thought was great. And then you climb up into it. And I wanted to share that experience because it's one of the most profound feelings of community that I have felt. And it was one of the most profound, palpable experiences. Hello, Danielle. Hello, Diana. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing space with me this evening. I'm sending you all of the love over from over here in Sedona. Now, that experience, I think it welcomes women of all walks, whether you've birthed children or not, to be in community with other women and mothers to help mothers heal. Mothers heal, and they soothe and they awaken things in other people. Hello, Jenny. I'm so glad you made it, lovely. And this really felt like one of those places that happens at. There have been so many visuals and so many connections made in this place. And when I got to observe the place from out above, which I'll have to do a whole other video talking about the energy of Sedona and what's under the ground here. Being able to see the vortex, the big vortices that people connect with out here, definitely correlate with the mountain ranges in this place. And that I thought was very, very interesting. So at some point I will be doing a video about that as well, perhaps a live stream. But the main topic that I wanted to talk about today was the frequency and the energy of enlightenment and what it means to walk the path of enlightenment, because I feel that there are these ideas that are floating around that there are two sides of the spectrum, and you are the enlightened person who walks a path of enlightenment, and you're single and you wear robes and you go climb mountains and you sit there for days and you are untouchable, and there's that enlightenment. And then there's you have an enlightened experience where you perhaps had an experience like me where you connected with the soul aspects that you are and you remembered your whole life and existence, and all of a sudden you're an enlightened person. And I feel like there is very little understood about the in-between, about what's between this. I had enlightenment, I experienced enlightenment, but I don't go sit on the mountain for months and deprive myself of luxury and goods and things like that in order to constantly hear the voice of God. There is middle ground, there's middle space in walking paths of enlightenment. To be a person who is seeking enlightenment is to seek knowledge that we have not had before or had not had previous knowledge of before. And when you come into these moments, we can have our enlightened moments where we remember something, we experience something, we feel something, and we grab onto that enlightened moment. That does not necessarily mean that you are an enlightened human. That means that you experienced an enlightened moment and your perspective has been expanded. And that is what it means to walk a path of enlightenment. If the end goal of your path is enlightenment, to walk always in the path of that awakening moment, that looks very, very different than if your goal is to raise a happy, healthy family alongside your spiritual walk, or to work an amazing career and you love your job, and to kind of walk in the world of people and man. To walk a path of enlightenment, which anyone can do at any point. It is our choice whether we walk a path of enlightenment or we walk the path that we came of experience. Either one, both are available to us at any time, but how and what your end result is can change over time. When I started my spiritual journey, I thought, or maybe questioned, that my end result was going to be I am walking the path of enlightenment, because I did not understand that enlightenment is a destination and there are journeys along the destination of enlightenment. We have enlightening experiences. They're not the same. I didn't understand that at the time, so I thought I was walking a path of enlightenment. And then I experienced enlightenment. And I thought, I want to be this all the time. Why would anybody want to be anything else? This is the most amazing thing I've ever experienced. I'm going to give up my whole life as it is right now, and I'm going to walk this path of enlightenment. I had no idea what that meant. I just knew that the enlightened moments, because I had a very extended moment, I didn't want to leave it. I wanted to always be there. I wanted to always walk in it. And I remember very distinctly in that experience, I had a visual of, the woman that I follow very near and dear to my heart, who is walking the path of enlightenment, an enlightened master. In meditation, as I was thinking about how to rearrange my entire life, came to me, said, "You're not for that life. You're for the life of this. This is what you came here for. This is what you came to experience. But you must experience these moments of enlightenment to remember that, to remember why you're here, to remember why you chose this, why you chose that, and how to move in that space." I encourage, both in my work and in my life, that you seek personal growth and fulfillment, not for the fulfillment of the ego and not for the sake of feeling good, but for the growth and expansion of that enlightened moment, where that consciousness that you are in the soul connects with that consciousness you are in the mind, and that you can experience that in the human form and live in that excitement and live in that memory, and then take the next step. Now that I've come and I've been walking this, I've been walking my spiritual path for 14 years. And I've come to this place in my spiritual experience now where I have been consciously cultivating my spiritual awakening path with my mission in the world to share things like this with you, and motherhood and wife together. And as I learn more of these layers of what it means to walk an enlightened path, the more that I am learning that the information that we hold as a soul is sacred, it is powerful, and it is safe to share it, and it is safe to be a part of it, but it is also safe to have the human walk of life and experience together with both. And in this moment, I would say that my end goal for not for my life, because I don't look at my path in terms of what I wish I had done on my deathbed. I look at my life in spans of 10 years. Where do I desire to be in 5 years? What is my result in 10 years? And right now, I can confidently say, I am not seeking to walk the enlightened human's path in 5 years. Now, in 5 more years, that might change because that might come up for me, and that's okay for it to change. Be comfortable with that change. Be comfortable with the shift. What represents enlightenment in frequency is what I have been watching a lot of science around what I already see. And there is in science the term the God particle, the thing that they have found inside of atoms that make up things, make up life itself, why they call it the God particle. That is what it is like to touch the frequency of walking hand in hand with enlightenment, is to be walking hand in hand with Creator, with God particle, with God source, with frequency and sound energy, all of it in one beautiful harmonic harmony of sound. And that feels differently based on how you can receive information. So not only do you have to understand what your association with the word, the term, and the energy of enlightenment, but you also want to look at how do you receive those energy? Because if you cannot identify the energy that is coming within as safe and or good and or elevating, then you're more likely to shut it down and to not receive it at all. So if you are seeking enlightened moments, you have to discover, is my subconscious open and accepting of an enlightened experience? Or am I holding back? Am I being reserved? And don't forget, if anybody has any questions about anything that I'm saying, please feel free to write them. I would be more than happy to answer them. Once we become accustomed on walking our path, and we have our path and our meditations and our experiences and our kind of our setting in mind where we desire to be and how we desire to feel, once you have that set out in front of you, that's when you can break it down and say, okay, where am I standing in my own way? What beliefs are in my subconscious that are standing in my way of receiving this information, this experience? Because that's where the real work starts. I came here on a pilgrimage, on a spiritual side quest, so to speak, on a spiritual quest of observing and understanding, to remember something that I had forgotten. And all of the meditations that I did leading up to this experience said, hey, you are coming here to remember an experience. There are several things that I have remembered since I have been here. Is it the thing that I think I'm missing? I have no idea. I just know that I'm open to all of the different experiences. And it's been an absolutely beautiful experience. And I hope that you got to see the full moon, because this full moon out here was phenomenal. Yes, take life by the horns. I will be back here. I will be back here. I will probably be back here with my family, which will be really, really something else to see. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a better understanding about what enlightenment is and what it is not, and that along your spiritual path, striving for those enlightened moments are what's going to build on to your next enlightenment moment. And that is one thing that you want to strive for. Coming forward in June. Ooh, Danielle, you went to Sedona. Yes, you definitely should make a trip. I am considering putting together a women's retreat here in Sedona. It is one of the reasons that I came here seeking to remember, because I definitely feel called to be with people in person. Oh, and specifically women, and cultivate a healthy, positive spiritual experience with women. And I definitely feel like this could be a place to facilitate something like that. How do I know if I may be holding back from an experience? You have to, one of the things that I do is I ask specific questions of the experience that I am trying to have. Sometimes we don't know what experience we're trying to have, and sometimes we're just trying to remember, right? But ask yourself, am I? Because that will trigger your subconscious to come out and give you a response. I do that after having like an alignment meditation where I sit and I align myself and I open up my subconscious and my conscious, and I ask myself questions. Ask that subconscious questions. Am I holding back from an experience? Most of the time, this is not all the time, but one of the things that comes up most often is that we are afraid because we do not understand the experience or what we're trying to do or what we're trying to have, or we're afraid of the outcome if we don't know the outcome of something. So there's an element of not feeling safe. And one of the ways that you can combat that is to reinforce that I am safe to have this experience. I am safe to receive this experience. I had an experience recently because I had to fly. I had to fly here. And this is not the first time I've flown this year, but I used to think that I was afraid of flying because that is the thing that's right in front of my face that I was grappling with on anytime it came up. But what I realized was that when I am going to get on a plane, my subconscious cannot create a reality where I am at my destination. When I fly home, I don't have that problem. When I fly home, I know what my home looks like. I know what it feels like. I know what I'm walking into. So I never have a problem flying home. I have an issue flying away from home. So once I learned that my mind was not actually afraid of flying, it was afraid of what it couldn't conceptualize, I have been able to redirect that into something different in order to not actually be afraid of flying. And that's one example that you could try doing for yourself in that moment. If you're trying to open yourself to more experiences, try to allow yourself to visualize yourself in those moments or what that would feel like and what it would look like. Did you get your sound back, Danielle? That's one of the things that has helped me a lot. My life gets to be unknown. My life gets to be exciting. Because I couldn't, when I flew to Ireland back in 2021, that was a 7.5 hour flight. And I would have these bouts of just in Ireland. And that is one of the experiences that I had to actually rewrite for myself, because I'm like, I get to have fun. It is safe to not know what that city looks like. It is safe to not know what that town looks like. It is safe to experience this new thing. And that also helped me surrender control, because I had to surrender control that I'm not flying the plane. I have to trust this person with my life. They do it every day. So there are so many elements to it, and a lot of the elements of resisting an experience comes down to being afraid of the outcome. And sometimes our mind is simply afraid that it cannot conceptualize us in a different situation. Which is why I always tell people to play in fantasy, because fantasy is fun. And if you can put yourself in fantasy, it's more likely to be open to a new experience rather than shut it out immediately. There are many things coming up in June. I am so excited. I am doing 2 live streams in June. Each live stream is going to have a different topic based on the frequency that we are in June. And there is some really amazing, abundant energy on the planet right now. One of the experiences that I got to have is I went stargazing with astronomers, and that was so phenomenal. And we, talked about the constellations and stars, and we got to look through super high powered telescopes. And it was, I loved it so much. But it did also remind me, as I was out there in the dark under the Arizona sky, which I had not had an opportunity like that in a very long time. Last time I did that was in Tucson, and that was 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I don't know how many years ago. It was a while. Anyway, we are in this new time on the planet. We are in a whole new place in our universe and galaxy, and being under the stars really reminded me of how powerful of a time we are in once again for change and transformation. And coming into enlightenment, or having our enlightened moments and experiences, are just a decision away. They're just a decision away from this. And we get to have fun, and it gets to be abundant, and it gets to be vibrant, and it gets to be amazing. It doesn't get to be lacking and hard and struggling anymore. It gets to be fun for us. So embrace it, and embrace this summertime. Excuse me. I am not taking single sessions for the month of June. When I do, I will be announcing it, but I will be in Michigan for at least 2 weeks in the middle and end of June. And I am very excited. We're going to be up there on family vacation, and I get to go see Lake Michigan again in the summertime. And I'm so excited. Anyway, if I take in-person sessions, I will definitely let you know. I'll definitely roll it out in the email to let y'all know if and when that is happening. But my goal and my focus for June is to make sure that I'm putting out content like this, doing live streams for everybody, answering your questions, and making myself available in the virtual space while I'm also planning for the fall, because I have some things that I would like to do with the fall, and I need the time to take it and be one with the space. So what, Danielle? That I will be in Michigan? I will. It will be family vacation. My husband actually, our original plan for the month of June was to be in California. And because of the way that things went, we acquired our camper trailer. And because of the way that we acquired our camper trailer, we will not be going to California. It is too far from home. So we are going to Michigan instead. And my husband took the whole month of June off because we were supposed to be going through all of California. And now we're only going to Michigan. So we're going to take 2 weeks as a family and go spend time in Michigan in the summertime. It's going to be beautiful. I can't wait. If you get stalked on the lake, don't worry, I'm harmless. I know you're harmless. I'll see you over there with your binoculars. What's she doing over there? We'll be at my favorite beach, so that's where I went last time. We're gonna be camping there this time with our fancy new camping thing, and my kids will be there, so yay. But yes, many more things are coming in June, and I will be more present online as well. Yes, Diane, I would love that. If nobody has any questions, I am exhausted, and I have a very early flight tomorrow, and I am excited because, let me tell you, I hiked up Cathedral Rock. It took me 2 hours in the desert sun to get to the top, but I did. I got to the top. It was absolutely beautiful. I am tuckered out. I have not exercised so much in 2 days in a very long time. I hope you all have an absolutely amazing night. You are so welcome, Danielle. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you everybody for supporting my process and my journey. I will be putting those videos together, and I'll try to get day 2 and 3 out to you today. Might only be day 2. We'll see how much energy I have. And yes, I love you all so very much. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. And yeah, I fly back home tomorrow and get to resume summer vacation with the boys. It's going to be exciting. I hope you have a great day, and I will catch you all in like 2 weeks. I'll be back here. All right.